Coming up on Look Today, well, Tedra Cobb has won the Democratic primary for the 21st Congressional District. More on that coming up. Plus, the World Awareness Children's Museum in Glens Falls is preparing to open an exciting new exhibit. We've got details. And the Adirondack Theatre Festival in Glens Falls wants children to enjoy theater as much as adults do. All of this coming up on Look Today. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jay Hood Jackson, and this is Look Today. On tonight's program, I sit down with Marty Vonnegues. He's the president of the Saratoga County Prosperity Partnership, and he's here to talk with us about his organization, their philosophy, and some exciting things coming up, including a trip to San Francisco for SemiCon West that's coming up in July, as well as a major convention he attracted to our community, the GSA Silicon Summit, which will be happening and taking place right here in Saratoga in October. I also sit down with Tedra Cobb. Now, she won the Democratic primary and is hence will be the candidate for the House of Representatives, New York's 21st Congressional District. And I'm replaying my most recent interview with her so she can tell us about her platform and reasons for running. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties. But first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, New York State held its primary elections yesterday. The results are in. Tedra Cobb won the Democratic primary by a very large margin. Over 10,000 of the ballots cast yesterday were in support of Cobb. Now, to show you how the rankings went, Dylan Ratigan came in second with 2,200. Third was Katie Wilson with 2,100. Emily Martz came in with 1,700 votes, and Patrick Nelson came in with a little over 1,600 votes. Well, now Tedra Cobb will now go on to race against Republican incumbent Elise Stefanik in November. Now, we spoke with Tedra Cobb by phone today, and we're going to have her in for an interview next week. In other news, well, the World Awareness Children's Museum in Glens Falls is preparing to open a new exhibit called Water, Water Everywhere. This is very cool. It's opening June 30th. The exhibition focuses on the importance of the bodies of water surrounding our region, as well as how this correlates to the importance of access to fresh water worldwide. Now, this exhibit, by the way, is funded through a 2018 Community Arts Grant from the New York State Council on the Arts. Now, we were at the museum today. You might remember I talked to June Waters, the director, in an interview, which you can find on our website, about this amazing exhibit. Well, Andrew was there today where she spoke about it.
So far our water features are dry, but all interactive. We have boats and a port and all kinds of things that show how water serves for commerce. Mm-hmm. We'll be doing a lot of dry fishing, talking about fish around the world and how that impacts communities all around the world. We have an interactive virtual space where children can move the plastic out of the water virtually. Mm-hmm. To learn about, the importance of clearing the water from what we all know is a lot of plastic pollution.
I know I've said it before, I can't tell you enough. Take your children, take your grandchildren to this museum right in downtown Glens Falls. It is an absolutely amazing place. Switching from news to weather. Today saw a lot of rain, talk about water, and we're going to continue to see it through the night into tomorrow. But then it's going to change. So let's see how the rest of the week is shaping up. Take a look at the weekend. For a more detailed look at our weather, the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thanks, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponster with your first look weather update on Look TV. Right now, we're going to experience a stormy weather pattern. A low pressure system is making its way into parts of New England. You can see from earlier today, showers and storms have made their way through much of the Midwest, and then they're making their slowly progression northeastward into the Capital District tonight. Here's that low pressure system and that warm front as I'm talking about that is heading into our direction. It's going to be really dominating the Thursday and Thursday night weather pattern. We'll see storms expected overnight. May see a half to 3/4 of an inch of rain, 63 the overnight low. As we plan it out through the early morning hours, near a 100% chance of thunderstorms and overcast skies as temps remain in the mid to upper 60s. Thursday, we could see more storms expected with an additional half to 3/4 of an inch of rain. Highs will be in the upper 70s. Southwest wind is 6 to 10 miles per hour. It's going to get sunnier eventually. However, look at the temps. It will be in the 90s beginning on Saturday, mid 90s by Sunday. We still be in the 90s for early next week, so a heat wave is likely in the forecast, and lows will be about 70 degrees, what feels like temps likely during the hottest times of the day at about 95 to 100 degrees. Maybe some isolated spots, especially on Sunday, could have a heat index of 105 degrees. Then there could be a 40% threat of showers and storms to kick off early next week. So be prepared for the heat, and that was your first look weather update. On Look TV, I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponsler. Now let's send it back to you, Jesse.
Thanks very much, Clarence. Okay, back to the news. Boy, we got a lot of good news tonight. The Adirondack Theatre Festival in Glens Falls wants children to enjoy theater as much as adults do. Well, today is the kickoff for the Adirondack Theatre Festival's production of Robin Hood. Now, this show is unlike any of the other productions you're going to see. Part of the PB&J, which stands for Peanut Butter and Jelly, Cafe series. Now, this show will give children a more interactive experience with the cast before, during, and after the performance. Well, we were at the Adirondack Theatre Festival today, and we got a chance to talk to Chad Rabinovitz, the producing artistic director for the festival.
So PB&J Cafe, a dinner theater for kids. We're one of the only theaters in the world that does it. Kids get the opportunity to dine while watching a live theater experience. They get to participate in a pre-show art activity related to the show. They come home with autographs from their favorite actors. It's an incredible experience that gets them off the couch, away from Netflix, and sees what it's like to experience what it's like to see live performers right in front of them.
Very cool. Now, the Robin Hood PB&J series runs through July 27th, so you've got a lot of opportunity. Okay, up next, I sit down with Marty Vanagh. He's the president, CEO of the Saratoga County Prosperity Partnership. And he's here to talk with us about the organization, their philosophy about economic growth, and about some events coming up, including the Semi-Con West. That's coming up in July, as well as a very big convention he attracted right here to our community, the GSA Silicon Summit. It's going to take place right in Saratoga in October. I also sit down with Tedra Cobb. Now, as you know, she won the Democratic primary and will be a candidate for the House of Representatives for 21st Congressional District. So we are replaying my most recent interview with her. We also spoke with her, and she'll be in for a new interview next week. Up next, but first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. I got a bunch of things about the Lookout. I particularly love tonight's news. You know, when we talk about the Adirondack Theatre Festival and the presentations geared towards Children of the World Awareness, Children's Museum in Glens Falls, and that absolutely amazing exhibit. That's real great community news. And oh, by the way, just today here in the studio, I was looking at the buzz, if you know what I mean. Mark Westcott was here, taping a new edition of Warren Watch. And Frank Dietrich was here, and Gina Misser was here. Marty Vanagh came in. These are really powerful players in our community, really with a lot of valuable information for us. And speaking of which, Kerry Werner will be in tomorrow for Beyond the Headlines with Mike Lenz. Man, that's community news, huh? Congratulations to Tedra Cobb. By the way, I interviewed all the candidates, worthy candidate for sure, and she will be back in for another interview so we can catch up with her. And last but not least, my wife and I did stop at Cronin's Golf Resort in Warrensburg last night to see Jim. I can't even tell you, I say this a lot about Cronin's Golf Resort. You like to play golf, get out to Cronin's. You like to just go hang at a bar, I'm telling you, it's cheers right there in Warrensburg. The vibe and the friendly atmosphere and the way the people interact is just really something. And Jim was in his usual form, by the way. All right, tonight on Look TV, Saratoga City Council meeting. And don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.